In this video, we are going to discuss about two-dimensional electrophoresis. Now, electrophoresis of all cellular proteins by SDS gel can separate proteins which have large differences in their molecular mass. Okay, for example, the 41 kilodalton protein can be separated from 42 kilodalton protein. Okay, so if you are doing electrophoresis of the cellular protein by SDS gel, then with the help of that you can separate only those proteins which have large differences in their molecular mass. To separate proteins which have similar mass, another physical characteristics must be exploited. If two proteins are having almost similar mass, so to separate them, another physical characteristic should be exploited. So in case of two-dimensional electrophoresis, the proteins are separated in two sequential steps. First, they are separated on the basis of their charge, and then they are separated based on their mass. Okay, so in two-dimensional electrophoresis, you are separating proteins in two sequential steps. First, you are separating them on the basis of their charge, and after that, you are separating them on the basis of their mass. So in the first step, the cell extract is fully denatured by high concentration of urea, that is 8 molar of urea, and then this cell extract is layered on a glass tube which is filled with polyacrylamide gel, and the polyacrylamide gel which is present in this glass tube is saturated with solution of amphotyles. That is, this solution of amphotyles contains a mixture of polyanionic molecules and polycationic molecules. Also, so this is the first step of the two-dimensional gel electrophoresis. Okay, the cell extract which you get is fully denatured with the help of high concentration of urea solution, and then this cell extract is layered on a glass tube containing polyacrylamide gel, and the polyacrylamide gel is saturated with solution of amphotyles which contains the mixture of polyanionic molecules and polycationic molecules. So when that setup which we just saw is placed into an electric field, the amphotyles in the mixture will separate and will form a continuous gradient on the basis of their net charge. Okay, amphotyles will separate and will form a continuous gradient based on their net charge. Okay, now most highly polyanionic ampholytes will collect at one end of the tube, and most polycationic ampholytes will collect at the other end of the tube. Okay, so once you start the electric charge, okay, the most highly polyanionic ampholytes will be there at one end of the tube, and at the other end you will be having most polycationic ampholytes. Okay, so this gradient of ampholytes which is just made establishes the pH gradient. Okay, the gradient of ampholytes then establishes the pH gradient. Now the charged proteins will migrate through this gradient until they reach the isoelectric point. Okay, so these charged proteins will migrate through this gradient of ampholytes till they reach the isoelectric point. And as you know, isoelectric point is that pH at which the net charge on the protein is 0. So the charged proteins migrate through the gradient until they reach at a particular pH at which their net charge is 0. So they will not migrate any further. Now this technique here is known as isoelectric focusing, which is abbreviated as IEF. And by using this isoelectric focusing, you can resolve those proteins which differ by one charge unit. Okay, So if if two proteins are differing by one charge unit, then those two proteins can be resolved by this isoelectric focusing, which is abbreviated as IEF. So this is how this technique, isoelectric focusing, IEF, looks like. Okay, and this is how your two-dimensional gel electrophoresis looks like. So there is your anode, there is your cathode, and this is the pH at the different parts of this surface. And before focusing, this protein molecules are distributed like this, and after focusing, the protein molecules are distributed according to their isoelectric points. Okay, so if you are considering these protein molecules, then the isoelectric point of this protein molecules lies between 3 and 4, and that is the reason why it becomes neutral at this pH, and that is the reason why it got accumulated here. Okay, similarly the proteins in green have isoelectric point between 6 and 7, and that is the reason why they stayed in this range of pH. So as you are separating the molecules on the basis of their mass, you are also separating on the basis of their charge. So even if these proteins have very similar molecular mass, they have different isoelectric points, and that is the thing on the basis of which you are able to separate them. And that is the whole point of this two-dimensional gel electrophoresis. So a mixture of proteins is placed in the pH gradient, and this pH gradient is then placed in the electric field. Now this pH gradient which you are observing here is formed by the ampholyte molecules under the influence of electric field. Okay, so under the influence of this electric field, the ampholyte molecules are also forming this pH gradient. Okay, so at anode you have acidic pH, and at cathode you have basic pH. So from 3, the most acidic, the pH goes up to the 11, most basic, and it starts from anode and it goes up to cathode. Now when you will start the electric charge, okay, when you will induce electric field through this setup, the proteins with a particular charge will move toward anode or cathode through the pH gradient. And during the migration of the proteins through this pH gradient, the protein will either pick up a proton or lose a proton. And because of that, at a particular pH, the net charge of the protein will change, and it will reach a pH at which the pH is equal to Pi, and the net charge on the protein will be 0. And when the net charge on the when the net charge on the protein will become 0, it will stop migrating. Okay, these molecules will stop migrating. Okay, so if you are considering this molecule, then the pH is 3 and the pH is between 3 and 4, and that is the isoelectric point of this proteins, and that is the reason why it has stopped migrating. Okay, so in this way the protein condenses are focused into these sharp bands in the pH gradient at their individual characteristic Pi values. For this protein, the Pi value is between 3 and 4, and for this protein it is at 10. Okay, so these bands are forming according to the Pi values of the protein. Okay, and if this pH gradient was not there, then proteins which will be having a positive charge would have been moved to the cathode, and the proteins which are having the negative charge would have moved towards anode. But because of the presence of this pH gradient in the system, the protein gets separated into these bands because of that. Now isoelectric focusing is carried out by an acrylamide gel. Now this gel contains ampholytes which forms the pH gradient, 8 molar urea and non-ionic detergent in it. And this 8 molar urea and non-ionic detergent in the gel denature the proteins and thus maintain the solubility of these proteins that is to be analyzed. Okay, so your gel contains ampholytes, 8 molar urea, non-ionic detergent. This ampholytes forms the pH gradient, and these two things denature the protein and maintain the solubility of the protein so that they can be analyzed. So the denatured proteins get separated into gel according to their isoelectric point. Okay, so this isoelectric points determines the separation of these denatured proteins into the gel. So this is your gel strip which has immobilized pH gradient on it. Okay, on this strip, on this gel strip, the pH goes from 4 to 10, and we add the protein mixture onto this gel strip, and then the separation of protein happens according to their isoelectric point, and this is known as your isoelectric focusing. Okay, the separation of protein based on their isoelectric point. So we apply an electric field across this pH gradient, and as you have applied the electric field, protein will move as it is carrying a particular net charge. Okay, if it is positively charged, then it will move towards the negatively charged electrode, and if it is negatively charged, then it will move towards the positively charged electrode. Now once they have start migrating, once the protein starts migrating towards cathode or anode through the pH gradient, they will reach a particular pH on this pH gradient at which they will be having a neutral charge. Okay, they will reach a pH which is their isoelectric point, and that is the reason why at that particular pH the protein molecule will be neutral. Okay, so if you consider this protein, then it has isoelectric point somewhere near 5, pH 5, and that is the reason why at pH 5 this protein has no net charge, and that is the reason why it will stop migrating. Okay, so that is how the protein molecules stop migrating once they have reached their isoelectric point. And on the basis of their isoelectric point, this is how a mixture of protein is separated on this gel strip which is immobilized by pH gradient. Okay, so the protein in a sample is becoming focused here according to its pi value, according to its isoelectric point. So after the separation according to the isoelectric point, this gel strip is applied to an SDS polyacrylamide gel. Okay, and the proteins, the separated proteins on this gel strip are then separated by SDS polyacrylamide gel, and this separation is done on the basis of their weight, molecular mass. So this is how two-dimensional gel electrophoresis looks like. First you separate them on the basis of their isoelectric point, and then you separate them on the basis of their mass. Okay, so proteins separated on an IEF gel can be separated in second dimension based on their mass and size. Okay, so first you separate them on IEF gel, and then you separate them by SDS electrophoresis, and that separation is based on their mass and size. Now to achieve this, IEF gel is extruded from the tube and it is placed lengthwise on the second polyacrylamide gel, and then there is formation of this slab saturated with SDS. Okay, so the proteins from IEF gel goes to the polyacrylamide gel, and then in that they are separated according to their mass. Okay, so when the electric field is imposed, the proteins migrate from IEF gel to SDS slab gel, and then they are separated on the basis of their mass. Now, this sequential resolution of proteins by their charge and mass can achieve an excellent separation of the cellular proteins. Okay, by using this two-dimensional gel electrophoresis, you are separating a particular mixture of protein on the basis of their charge as well as on the basis of their mass. You used to separate on the basis of their mass, but you are also separating now on the basis of their isoelectric point, and that gives an excellent separation if you want to separate cellular proteins. So this isoelectric focusing is an electroporation method in which proteins are separated on the basis of their pi values, on the basis of their isoelectric point value. The proteins are separated in the isoelectric focusing method. Now, this method uses the property of protein that the net charge of the protein will be determined on the pH of the local environment. Okay, the pH of the local environment is going to determine what net charge that particular protein is going to carry. Okay, so the protein can be positively charged, it can be negatively charged, or it can have zero net electrical charge, and this will depend on the pH of the environment. Okay, so the net charge on a particular protein is the sum of the positive charges and negative charges present on that particular protein. Okay, so the charges on a protein are determined by the ionizable group. Okay, ionizable acidic side chain and ionizable basic side chain of a particular amino acid will determine the charge on that particular protein. And prosthetic group of a protein also determines the charge on it. Okay, so the charge of a protein is determined by the ionizable acidic side chain or ionizable basic side chain of the constituent amino acids as well as the prosthetic group present on the protein. Now, if the number of acidic groups precedes the number of basic groups, then the isoelectric point of the protein will be a low pH value and hence protein will be acidic. And if the number of basic group is more than number of acidic group, then the pi of that particular protein will be having a high pH value and then protein will be basic. Okay, so if the number of acidic groups are more than number of basic group, then the protein will be acidic. Protein will be having the pi value of the protein will be low pH value, and if the number of basic group is more than the number of acidic group, then the protein will be basic and its isoelectric point will be having a high pH value. Now, proteins show considerable variation in their isoelectric points, but the pi values of proteins range between pH 3 to 12, and mostly protein have pi values between 4 to 7. Okay, pi values between 4 to 7 are the most common in case of proteins. So, proteins will be positively charged in a solution if the pH value of that solution is below the isoelectric point of that particular protein. And protein will be negatively charged in a solution if the pH value of that solution is above the isoelectric point of that protein. Okay, so if the pH is below than isoelectric point, then the protein will be positively charged, and if the pH is above the isoelectric point, then the protein will be negatively charged. Okay, so if pH is below pi, then the protein will be negatively charged, protein will be positively charged, and protein will migrate toward cathode. And if the pH value is above pi, then the protein will be negatively charged and it will migrate toward anode. And if the pH is at isoelectric point, then protein will not move in the electric field. Okay, protein will not move if the pH is equal to the isoelectric point of that particular protein. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.